If you want to be able to have your entire community hate you in an instant video, look no further than ranking the difficulty of every single event in track and field.
You guys are going to hate me after this video, probably. I have had this video idea for maybe like a year, and I have not done it because I know I will piss people off. My takes on this topic is not to be taken lightly. I will say things I think nobody has ever said in their life, but here we are. So welcome back to DLUT 3. Today I am going to be stepping away from giving tips, which I have done the past few months, and actually decide to rank how difficult every single event is in track and field. Now, you might be thinking, I am a jumper. I wouldn't know jack rabbit. Well, I have to tell you, ever since I've been doing track since 6th grade, I've actually done or at least tried every single event except like a few throwing events. But I want to go over real quick some of the criteria for how I'm ranking what is going on here. Basically, S tier is really freaking difficult, like dummy levels of difficult. C tier is like, it's pretty okay. F tier is, it's easy. It's not hard. It's really not that bad. I will say, you can argue that none of these events are easy. And so because of that, I am not going to be ranking this based off of like how easy it is to be able to do it. I'm rather going to kind of go over how hard it is to like get good at it. And not only that, but my main ranking for how hard an event is going to be the athleticism required, because some of these events, not everyone can do them. And the last thing before we get started really quick, I am excluding any like grouped events, so any heptathlon or decathlon I'm not including in this. The other thing is I'm not including relay events. So I've talked long enough. Be sure to subscribe, be sure to like the video. It is November. I apologize. Let me get my Santa hat on, and we will get into it with the 100. Probably the name of track and field. It is basically the borderline of how fast you are. Because of that, the 100 is pretty hard. I want to get into something very interesting here, and that is speed compared to endurance. Speed is much harder to train than endurance. I'm going to say it. It's true. Now, in terms of actually discipline and mentality, yes, endurance is way harder than training speed. But to actually be able to have the athleticism to be fast and have the strength to be fast and actually consistently training to boost your speed is much harder than to boost your endurance. Some people just can't get fast. I'm victim to that. I just can't get fast. But I'll tell you what, I can definitely get endured, very much so, to where I could actually be good at some of these endured events. Because of that, the 100 is literally just a staple of how fast you can run. And it is why a lot of NFL players, some of the most athletic people on earth, will put themselves in the 100 and try to compete in them because they are that athletic for them. Meaning the 100 requires a lot of athleticism. 200. I think the 200 is harder than the 100. I think we could all agree on that. It's basically running the 100, except you got to run it for a longer distance. So basically every aspect of speed that you needed, plus a little bit of endurance. And you're not sacrificing speed for the endurance. Like, you have to do both. Because of that, it just makes it harder than the 100. And a lot of NFL players and a lot of athletic people will not go out and try to do the 200. They will go out and try to do the 100 because they don't want to deal with that endurance part. Also, there's a little bit of form here. Some people actually like to use the 200 to slingshot themselves around the curve to try to like boost their speed and such. There's a little bit of form and a little bit of strategy to that. So because of that, I think there's actually a lot more factors into what actually makes up a good 200, meaning there's more areas to train in, making it harder. Next up, I included a pretty interesting one, the 300. This is not really like an event. It kind of is. Like, there's definitely some professional events with the 300, but it's generally not in the Olympics. This is mainly an indoor event, and I don't know if, like, this is only for high school. It's not. I've seen some pro things, but in high school, we had the 300 meter all the time, indoor. The 300 can go suck itself. Excuse my language, but I hate the 300. It's hard. It's harder than the 200. It's the perfect balance of speed and endurance. It is the perfect balance of it. So much to the point where it's just like, you gotta be so good at both. And like I said, you're not sacrificing the amount of speed you need to be good at it. You're not sacrificing speed for endurance. All you're doing is adding endurance, because you can be really fast and you won't be good at the 300 because you don't have endurance. Or you can have really good endurance but not be good at the 300 because you're not fast enough. It's the perfect balance where you need to be synergistic in those two aspects. Because of that, it's really freaking hard. And I'm putting it above the 200 and the 100. The 400 is where things get a little bit interesting here, because now we're actually sacrificing that speed factor, and now the event is becoming more on the endurance side of things. As said before, it's much harder to train for speed than it is endurance. Because of that, I'm putting the 400 under the 300. I know that sounds very weird. Trust me, things will get even weirder. This is the beginning of where things get totally insane. But the reason I say this is mainly experience. The 400 was one of my main events in high school. I was solid at it. I ran a 52. But keep in mind, I'm not the fastest person. I'm not that fast. I said it in the last video. I'm not very fast on long jump or anything like that. But because I trained really hard for endurance to be good at the 400, because I was really into it and I really wanted to do good. Because of that, I trained so hard for endurance, and I was actually able to get my endurance up to where speed was kind of a non-issue for me, and I was still able to run a very solid time in the 400. Now, I'm not going to go here and say that 52 is like a D1 time. Absolutely not, no. But it's still pretty solid. I'd say it's a little easier than the 300 because that endurance factor is getting a little too high for my liking and gets a little easier to train in. Now, moving on from the sprinting events, we are actually going to start to step into the distance events. But this is where I was dreading to make this video. It's talking about the 800. Because you look everywhere. What is the hardest event in track and field? What is the hardest event in track and field? What is the hardest? Everyone says the 800. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I need to stay consistent with what I am classifying as a hard event. And I am saying, in terms of athleticism and how hard it is to really get good at that event, the 800 is not up there. We're really sacrificing that speed for that endurance. A lot of the 800 is endurance, fast-paced running, but not necessarily sprinting. You don't need to be squatting 400 on the rack to be running the 800. That was a horrible voice crack. Oh my goodness. To be really good at the 800, you could really just be like decently fast, but also just be mainly endured. And because of that, you could get good at the 800. Now, if we're talking in terms of mentality and actual discipline of each event, 800 would be S tier all day. I'm gotta give a lot of credit to my 800 runners out there. 800 is not an easy event. And also, when I put it in B tier, I'm not saying it's an easy event. No, it's still in the hard category. But I gotta give credit to you. I'm sure that last lap sucks. And the mentality you need to deal with all the lactic acid, oh, it's terrible. Like, that's awful. And it's hard to deal with that. I understand. But when you're getting to the advanced level and the pro level, everybody has that mentality. So it just comes down to skill. And when we're talking about skill, the 800 is not up there. I apologize. However, you might have noticed, the more speed we sacrifice and put into endurance, the easier things get. So for all my distance runners out there, I'm sorry what I'm about to do. 1,500 meters. It's not that hard. Growing up, I wasn't the most athletic. I got really athletic, I'd say, about sophomore year of high school. I ran the 1,600 when I was in middle school, and I was one of the better ones on the team. It's not that hard. And I also wasn't that dedicated. But things just get easier and easier. $3,000. No, bro. There's no actual like deep athleticism actually needed to be good at the 3,000. But at this point, things plateau. It's similar to just the 10,000 and 5,000. So Basically, we're putting these here. And these three are all interchangeable. You can put these any other way. Because at this point, the distance is far enough to where it's like, you can't get any easier. It's really just a matter of pacing and how endured you are. So, because of that, things are just not that difficult here. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. And look, I'm gonna say like I do with the 800. Like in terms of your mentality, you definitely are very good, and you're definitely very disciplined, and you definitely do an event that I couldn't be good at because I don't want to be good at. But in terms of what is most difficult, it's not enough. Steeplechase, it's like the same thing. I'm gonna put it a little higher. I'm probably gonna put it right here. I'll put it above the 15, simply because I think, it takes a little more to actually be able to jump over the little obstacles. But generally, it's kind of the same boat. It doesn't take much to do it. Now we're going back into sprinting with the hurdles. This is where the list is gonna get pretty interesting here. 110 hurdles suck. They are hard. I think somebody said it best. I don't know who. I saw it in like a comment section. 110 hurdles is the only event in track and field that some people literally just cannot do. You can't complete it. And we're not talking like you pick someone off the street to do it. No, you're talking like people on track teams. They won't just be able to do the 110 meter hurdles. This takes a lot of athleticism. You gotta be fast, just like the 100, and you gotta be going over freaking hurdles quick. You gotta be coordinated, you gotta be rhythmic, you gotta be fast. Gosh, this is just a nightmare to deal with. This is high A, just on the verge of S. Speaking of S, first S tier event is the 400 meter hurdles. Some might say the hardest event, literally the hardest event in track and field, harder than the 800. It's fair to say that. Going into what makes up 400 difficult, it's a little more endurance focused, but mainly speed. That endurance though, when you throw hurdles with endurance, it's an ugly combination to deal with. The reason why is because around that 200 meter mark, you will feel lactic acid like you've never felt before. And you don't just run, you have to go over hurdles and deal with lactic acid and be fast enough and athletic enough to even be able to run a good time. I really just don't have much to say. If you don't believe me that's that hard, go out and do it and you will see. Like, it's just ridiculously difficult. And now with that, hurdles are done. Let's now get... I'm gonna ignore that for now. We're gonna move on. All the running events are complete. We will now get into the field events. This is where things are gonna get very weird. I've said that a lot in this video. Now look, I went over how the 800 was gonna piss people off. No, this is where people are gonna get pissed off probably, because now the people who I said had events that were easy are now gonna see how every single field event is harder than like 90% of running events. It is just true. You can't say it's not true. To be able to just be good at some of these things, to be able to just do some of these things, is really, really, really difficult. And we're starting it off with my own personal event, long jump. Long jump is the easier of the jumping events. I'm gonna go out and say it. I'm gonna try to be unbiased when I say that. Long jump is the easier of the events. It's still freaking hard though, and I'm gonna put it right there. Below 110 hurdles, but above 300. Do I want to put it above the 110 hurdles? I absolutely will. Sorry about that. The reason why I will is because in terms of athleticism, if we get into athleticism, yeah, long jump is way harder. Like I made that comparison with football players to 100. It's the same thing with long jump. Football players, most athletic people on earth, will be doing long jump too and be good at it, because long jump just comes down to core basic athletic strength, speed, power, form, coordination. All those things come into play with long jump, everything. When football players, the most athletic people, have maximized those basic core materials, they can just go to long jump and do it very good. So if you want to be a good long jumper, train like a football player. That's my tip. No, I'm kidding. If you want to be good at long jump, you should follow my channel. Subscribe. If you want to be good at long jump, you subscribe. You also want to be good at golf, subscribe. You want to be good in anything, subscribe, baby. Let's go. Sorry about that. Let's move on. Triple jump. Alright. Listen to me. This event, I did this event for many years of my life. I had to unfortunately quit because I was injured. I'm injured and I literally cannot triple jump. But some people may say this event to be the most underrated event in all of track and field. And when we say that, you don't understand how difficult triple jump is. It's an S tier in terms of difficulty. It is ridiculous how difficult triple jump is. If you are anywhere in the range that's below triple jump, and you are pissed off that I just ranked triple jump higher than your event, go and do it. Try it. It is literally the one sport that puts the most force on a human limb. The number one. The most forceful sport on a single human limb is triple jump in all of sports, not just track and field. Let me throw some more stats at you. At this moment, so you got someone's running down the runway on triple jump. At this moment, from their first phase to their second phase, they are putting the same amount of force in the ground for a very split second, equivalent to basically balancing on one foot while carrying a rhino on your back. A rhino. How much do rhinos weigh? Literally, like, it's a ton. It's a straight up ton. All right, I just looked it up. 1.7 tons. 1.7 tons of force in triple jump. You're gonna tell me that's not the freaking hardest event in track and field? Are you kidding me? But then this is where things get interesting. Okay, so he did it once there. He's got to do it again. Twice. He's got to do it twice. But then this is the thing. Some people don't understand this because you don't long jump. But you have non-dominant legs. It's like throwing left-handed in baseball when you're right-handed. This person has to put the weight of a rhino on their back on their non-dominant foot. Literally the most underappreciated event in track and field. The amount of difficulty on this event makes me cry sometimes. I'll admit, those lonely nights, man. It's part of me is actually kind of happy that I did get injured and don't have to triple jump anymore, because I was so frustrated that I sucked at it when I thought I was good at it. I'm not. All right, next jumping event, high jump. Let's just keep the train running here. High jump is freaking hard. I did high jump my senior year of high school for indoor track. Indoor track, we didn't have long jump, and I wanted to keep jumping, so I did high jump. It was hard. It's freaking hard. I was able to clear 5.8, and I had no coach, but the form of high jump, oh my gosh. High jump is freaking hard. It's just weird. It's such a weird movement of the body that it's like, I can't really describe it. It's just hard. But if we're talking in terms of how difficult it is, like the form of high jump is the second most difficult by far. But if we're looking at athleticism, like you need strength. You need strength, and you need a lot of coordination to be good at high jump. Much more than the other events I have really mentioned on this list. Yeah, I mean, it's just that difficult. I have nothing more to say. Pole vault. This is where I will be the most, like, normal this list. And pole vault is the hardest event in track and field. I think everybody on Earth can agree that pole vault is the hardest event in track and field. I will say this one thing, well, with triple jump. The two can be interchangeable. I glazed triple jump for a reason here. Like, triple jump is very close to as difficult as pole vault. Maybe more difficult. I haven't given it enough thought. Pole vault is one of the few events in track that I actually never really competed in, but rather I just decided to try it out. When I tried it out, found out it's freaking hard. Also, it's terrifying. Like, I just could never do that. It's so scary. But in terms of strength, you need to be fast. You need to be fast. You need to be speedy, which is a big thing here. You need to be able to jump. You gotta jump. It's a jumping event. You don't just let the pole take you up. No, you gotta actually jump off the ground pretty hard. And then you gotta have freaking core strength like a monster to be able to bring your lower body above your upper body like nothing. And then is what I hinted at. It has the most amount of form of any other sport. This is where form and coordination is the most. Coordination is a very big part of athleticism. When I show you these gifts here, do I really need to convince you that this is the hardest event in track and field? I think you can agree with me. So, jumping is done. Let's now get into throwing. Shot put. The little amount of attention that is given to throwers actively pisses me off. Because in my opinion, in my correct opinion, shot put is an S tier difficulty event. Put it higher than high jump? Yes. I'm putting it above high jump. I have tried shot put before. I can't do it. The reason why I am putting shot put so high on this list is because of one freaking man known as Ryan Crouser. Okay, if you have not heard of this man and you're a track athlete, you should be ashamed of yourself. This man is a freak of nature of athleticism. Basically, if you don't know, Ryan Crouser is the current world record holder for the shot put, and he is undoubtedly the best shot putter like ever. He has broken the world record countless amount of times. He has improved upon the old record by, I think, 40 centimeters. That's a lot, but there is a video by Wired, I recommend you watch it, that actually goes over why it's very difficult to shot put 24 meters. It's a very interesting video. I've watched it many times. I really like it, but the guy in the video, he glazes Ryan Crouser in terms of how athletic he is, and he deserves it because that man is so athletic. To be good at shot put, you need to be good in every aspect of athleticism, no questions asked. You need to be strong as heck, you need to run fast, you need to be able to you need coordination. But then on top of that, I'll get into actually the event itself. Shot put's just not easy. The ball that you throw is 16 pounds. That's basically the weight of a professional used bowling ball, which is really heavy. Especially you gotta flick it like that. That it's hard. It's not easy. You also have to do a rotational movement to get it far. A lot of body coordination and proprioception is actually needed to actually put this thing far, and it's very difficult. But now let's finish up with the other fields of throwing. Javelin, hard, not the hardest. I don't think javelin is too bad. It's like throwing a baseball. How hard can you throw a baseball? There's obviously some form to it, but a lot of people can throw a baseball pretty hard. That really will come into play with javelin. You don't need too much athleticism to be able to throw something very hard. And now, I don't want any javelin people out there to be like, oh my gosh, this guy is comparing javelin to throwing a baseball. He knows nothing about javelin. I'm just using it as a reference. I'm just saying the general act of you're usually whipping your arm to throw something. That is what is being used in javelin, that same motion. And it's the only throwing event that uses that motion. So that's why I'm comparing it. To be able to whip your hand like that, the athleticism you need to do that is definitely hard, but not on an incredible level. So I think where I have it is a very fair rating. Discus, I think, is a little easier. I think discus is the one where I have not tried and I have not competed in. So discus is pretty blind here, but I have watched discus. I've seen many other people do it, and it's a lot of form based. You can be good at discus without being the strongest person, because if you're just able to have the form and produce that centripetal force to be able to launch that thing pretty far by rotating the way you do, discus can very easily be done. To be able to actually do that is very difficult, and to be able to go D1 and pro, you actually have to get gains and be an athlete. So I think where I have it is pretty good. To conclude everything though, hammer throw is unfortunately a pretty anticlimactic way to end this thing, because I have literally no idea how difficult hammer throw is. Hammer throw I did not have in high school, so I was not able to watch it, I was not able to try it, I was not able to compete with it, nothing. I can't even tell you what is a good mark in hammer throw. If you're a hammer thrower watching this video, let me know in the comments. I would love to learn more about your event because it seems really freaking difficult, but I feel like it has that same principle of discus. When I just look at it, it's using a centripetal force to launch the thing far. Doesn't seem too much of an issue. I'd say it's harder than discus though, because the amount of rotations that you need to do is more than discus. So because of that, it's probably harder to stay balanced in form. And if you're going to say that I glaze shot put too much when it does the same thing and it does that balancing act, shot put's different because the discus and hammer throw have a kind of a counterweight act to it. Shot put is on top of your center of mass. So it's pretty hard to balance. And shot put, you're also not really using a centripetal force to throw it. You're just transferring force from your lower body to your upper body. That is what the spin is used for. But anyway, that is it. No F tiers. So I'd say that's actually pretty interesting. I was expecting to throw an F tier in this. I did kind of eyeball everything. But I think I generally agree with this list. The only thing I would change is maybe pole vault and triple jump are a little interchangeable. But I'm going to leave it the way it is. As I said before, I don't have enough experience in pole vault to really make that decision. And because I have just heard a lot of things, I've looked into it a lot, pole vault seems a lot harder. So this is the list. If you are pissed off, good job. You should be pissed off. But this is my list. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it if you stuck to the end of this video. Let me know other tier lists you want me to do. I do have one other one in mind, which I probably will get out to you in a few weeks or so, hopefully. If you want me to actually do a video where I try each of these events, let me know about that. That was another video idea I had in mind. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks, in which I will finally, on that moment, be on winter break. So I will see you guys then.